Who knows, right? Okay, so hopefully we're going live, and I'm just gonna get this started. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jennifer Goulden. I own Entourage Media and Marketing in the Waterloo region. I'm lucky to be able to do marketing coaching and done-for-you services for some of my favorite business owners here, mostly in Waterloo region, plus a handful elsewhere. Basically, I use marketing to help entrepreneurs shapeshift from where they are now, which usually means that they need more leads, more sales, more time, more results, something along those lines, to where they know that they want to be. And most of them are able to do this on their own, but with a little help, we just get there a little faster. So today I am interviewing Katie Kahvo, who is an amazing business owner here in Waterloo region. And she is not only a mompreneur and business coach, but she leads the Rise Meetup group in KW, which normally meets up every month in Waterloo region, but also is on Facebook, especially since COVID. So there's a lot of virtual meetups happening now as well. So hi, Katie.
Hi, thanks for having me, Jennifer.
No problem. Thanks for joining. This is amazing. I've wanted to interview you for ages, so this is great.
I'm excited to be here.
And you're so good on video. You do it all the time. So you're way more experienced than I am in this case.
Oh, well, thank you. This is not always something I was comfortable with, but you just start doing it and it does get a lot easier as you go.
Was that the key for you? Just jumping into it and making it happen?
Yeah. And I tell people a lot that I started off actually with webinars. I did a lot of webinars back when I did nutrition. And I used to like write out full scripts of like line for line what I was going to say. I was always so nervous. And
then you're holding your breath while you're talking and trying to exhale.
Yeah. And I would put slides on so that no one could have to see my face. And like I would use technology if I was like, oh, I just like need to, I don't know. I would make up all the excuses. I had like all the excuses for answers in my head so that if anything went wrong, I had an out. It was ridiculous. I was so nervous. But
I know.
Now I just jump on.
Well, and you know what? It's almost like COVID has forced us. You jumped on before COVID, but for me, I'd only done a few videos before then, and I think having to have online rehearsals and meetings and everything on Zoom, you just get used to video. And now kind of the Band-Aid is ripped off and here we are. So
exactly.
At least there's a silver lining to some of this.
Well, and I find it's just easier if I just have something to say or something that I wanted to talk about. I mean, I would think about it and figure out what exactly I wanted to say. And now I just jump on and talk about it. And I just feel like it's so much more authentic and it just flows better. And I actually do it then.
That's so true, because if you wrote it as opposed to did a video, you would edit it and then rewrite it and then I think this sounds better if I do it like this, and it takes like 4 times longer.
Exactly. Yeah. Just jump on, just do it.
Yeah. So one of the things that I like about you, Katie, is that you think big. In terms of entrepreneurship and building your businesses and creating a community around you, you seem to always have your eyes on the big picture, which I think a lot of us are struggling with because of what's going on these days, and everything being shut down and everybody having to pivot and all of this at the same time. So, how do you do that? What is the key to just keeping kind of that sky view and your eye on the prize?
Yeah, so I appreciate you saying that, actually. That feels really good to hear that from someone else. So thank you for saying that. I would say there's a few keys in that. One of them is, especially this year, I've really shifted to very much surrounding myself with people who are a few levels above me, or a lot above me, and just doing things in the way that I would like to do them, or whether that is business, they're in that place where I'm kind of aiming and striving to be, or whether it's other women who have small kids at home and then are still rocking it. I think it's really, really important to surround yourself with those people, because when those negative voices come in and I start having that doubt and like, what am I doing? I have 2 little kids at home. I have a 4-year-old and a 9-month-old and COVID. And I think like, this is nuts. I can't do this. And then I, start scrolling through Facebook and I see all these people that I'm following in my community. And I think, no, they're doing this. This is proof that it can be done. I can do this. I just need to, maybe take a breather, go for a walk, or, try something in a different angle or whatever. But having those people in my group is really, really helpful for keeping in mind that I can have it all and I can dream big, and, it is being done. So I might not be able to do it exactly the way I'm attempting to do it in that moment. I may have to make a shift, but it's possible.
And I love that. I never thought of it that way, because there is always the negative voices in your head. And if you just outnumber them with positive ones by surrounding yourself with those kind of people, that's a great way to approach it, actually.
Yeah, that's been a big turning point, I would say, for me this year, is making that effort to put those people around me and to have the confidence to go and interact with those people more and, build those relationships and, really have friends, like those networks that I want around me. And just, be cool to be like, yeah, I'm friends with that person. I'm in their circle, and that feels really good. And it's just
bragging rights.
Yeah, it totally changes the way that you think and the way that you show up. And I've always been a big believer in having that vision, which I talked about at your expo back in March, right before all this started.
Like weeks before.
Yeah.
We had no idea. I mean, we had an inkling, but wow. It's 10 years have passed, it feels like. Yeah. Well, and you're a great speaker too. So
thank you.
Do you do a lot of that? I know you did it at my shows, but where else do you speak?
I've done a couple speaking gigs. I did one for Habitat for Humanity, was one of my most recent ones. I also, we run our monthly meetup, so I'm standing up in front of my group there. But mostly I do stuff online. So I'll do podcasts or conferences, live events, stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So tell me about Rise and kind of how you got involved in Rise. Just for those of you who are just tuning in, Rise, it's Rise Up KW Meetup Group, correct?
Rise Meetup for women entrepreneurs / Kitchener-Waterloo. Right.
Yeah. So, and it's an amazing group. I'm part of it, and I think I've been in there for maybe 6 months or so. And it's a really kind of active, thriving group. So how did that happen? Tell me.
It's a good question. So building a community, I think that being an entrepreneur is a very isolating journey. It can be very lonely. You often, if you're a solopreneur, you're all by yourself doing this. And,
for real.
Even if you have a pretty good idea of what you're doing, it's still, like I said, those negative voices pop up still. And, maybe you're brand new and you have so many questions, or there's a new, opportunity or something that came up that you have no idea how to approach it. And it's very, very isolating. So I've always wanted to have a community where we could get together, and whether we were learning together or supporting one another or just having conversations, so that we didn't feel so alone. Actually, I think before I started Rise, right before I started it, I actually just threw out a Christmas party for my other entrepreneur friends, because I missed that part of having a real job.
So you're a social person, you're outgoing, and you like to go to parties and network and stuff in real life?
I don't really like networking events, actually.
Okay.
But I like to just have fun. And, that was a big part. My husband works in the tech industry. So, they're treated very well at their jobs, and they get all these fun perks. And I'm like, oh, why do I have to lose that in being an entrepreneur?
In entrepreneurship, that's right.
So I decided to start this community where we could come together, and we have Christmas parties now, and we celebrated 2 years of Rise in May. And although I had intended to do this in person, obviously that wasn't the case, but we threw a birthday party, and I literally went and got cupcakes and delivered them to everyone's house. And
That was amazing. I hate that I missed it. And it was so cool watching you post as you were getting prepared and delivering, like you had balloons and you had the whole thing going on.
it was so fun. It was just,
Yeah.
you know, we need more of that. And I just don't think that there's any reason why we can't have it.
Yeah, it just takes a little more effort, really.
It does. Yeah.
Some creative thinking, right?
Yeah. And it's just, so it's been lovely. So this started from always wanting to do this and just kind of needing that push to jump in and start it. Because again, there was those like, oh, no one shows up, and how am I even going to do this? And what does it look like? And what if I don't know what I'm talking about?
You sort of created a community that you were craving at the time, and then it became something that supported others. Absolutely. And then grew from there.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And how many members do we have now?
246.
Nice. And it is invitation only, so it's not intended to have 3,000 people. It's supposed to be small enough that everyone gets something out of it. So when I make you have TV Tuesdays, which it was originally my worst nightmare, because you had to go on there and do a live video, and I'm like, oh my God. But when you do it, people are watching, right? So the group is small enough, they get the notifications, they actually engage, and they give you feedback and that sort of stuff. And that's really great.
You know what, I will say actually at the beginning, I've never done really any advertising for this group. I just intended to bring together.
I'm in marketing.
Sorry. Well, it's been a lot of word of mouth. So the group itself advertises. So, I mean, it's one of those things where, again, there was this missing link that I wanted. I didn't really like networking groups and the way that they were run. So I wanted something that we could still get together and connect, and connection being the main focus of the group. Without, pushing sales or like kind of doing that. I really just wanted those authentic connections. So I threw it out on my personal page and was like, I'm just going to start this group if anyone wants to join. And it blew up to the point where I stopped actually bringing people in because I wanted it to stay small and I wanted it to have those connections. And, these groups that have thousands of people in them, you kind of lose that. And it's just not the same. It's not the same effect. So I did put it on hold for a while, and I have opened it back up again in the last little while because, I've had a chance to rework kind of what I thought the group would look like and get things under control and systems in place so that I can manage a larger group. But it's just been amazing.
You have weekly hosts, so you do post all the time in there, and you do lives, but also you kind of elect a host for each week who does the pre-scheduled activities like the TV Tuesday and motivation and
Monday,
all of that.
Wellness Wednesday,
yeah, that's right. So that takes the edge off, right?
It does, and a lot of people are new to this kind of space or the online space. So I think just giving them those little snippets makes them a lot more comfortable to get up in front of our group and to host for the week. And it's worked out really, really well. Because, like I said, I got 2 little kids. I have 2 businesses. I don't have time to be showing up every day in the group. So this was
for people who've never been in this group, like Katie, her baby will be on her lap or running around the room or whatever. She's a true mompreneur, and we all know that in the group. So it's not like the baby has to go to daycare and be tucked away or whatever. It's real life. It's authentic. And if there's a baby in the room, so what? A lot of us are moms, and that's the way it goes. I'm, doing this from my kitchen because my office is the black hole of internet. It makes no sense, but that's what real life is like.
And that's part of really what I wanted to bring in was, there were a lot of moms, and I have little kids, and I can't, there are meetups where kids aren't allowed to go to. And I thought, well, then that's enough for me. I can't.
Right. You couldn't.
What am I going to do?
Yeah. You can't just auction off a child.
Yeah. And it's, we don't have any family in town. So to have someone come and drop in and watch, my kids, it wasn't really an option. So I wanted someplace where, I've always said kids are always allowed, as long as they're not being super disruptive, which we've never had a problem before. Kids are more than welcome to come because that's part of this lifestyle. It's a major part of why I'm running my business, right? So to exclude that or to pretend like it doesn't exist or to really have this strict line between entrepreneur and mom doesn't make sense for me, because that's not what this is about. It's not who I am.
And you know what? People want to do business with people they see as their friends, people they know, like, and trust, right? So, you know, the perfect person doesn't exist in real life.
Yeah.
And maybe perfection for a mompreneur is being able to work with a baby on your lap. I mean, that,
Yeah.
like you said, that's why you got into business for yourself, is so that you could be with your family and have them around you and raise them without sacrificing that while you build your own empire.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's been lovely, and everyone has been super supportive of that. I mean, I had my son in September, so I, had someone else kind of take over for a couple months in there, but I've brought him to every meetup since, and people, will happily take him and hold him or change diapers or whatever needs to be done while I go and get things organized. It's just been incredible. It's overwhelming some days, just the generosity and the kindness and compassion and empathy and support that this group has is just
It's
unlike
amazing.
anything else I've ever experienced, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. So what did you originally have as like the big view? Sorry, we've got some technical stuff going on over here. We're all trying to do courses and lives and whatever all at the same time. So what was your original view for the group? Because I know it's gone kind of beyond what you thought. So
Yeah.
how has that worked out?
I mean, yeah, originally I was like, if I get like 10 people that we can just like hang out and like meet monthly and, just socialize and get rid of that loneliness feeling and just feel like I'm around like-minded people, then I'm happy. Obviously, it's grown to a lot more than 10 people.
Yeah.
And, the group is so engaged and excited. And we have guest speakers every month that come in for our meetups. And the value that comes from these speakers is just out of this world. We have had everything from, like today, we had a talk on content. In the past, we've had people offer to run like full workshops on
The
gear.
content today was amazing. The
Yeah.
content writing. I
Yeah.
mean, I do it sort of for a living, but you know what? You can always get new information from another expert. Like you said, like surround yourself with people either on the same level or above you, and you're
Mhm.
always going to learn something. I love
Yeah.
being a lifelong student and just soaking up, like I'm a sponge. Just give me as much information as you can, and I will always come back for more.
Well, we'll be more next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Elaine's on next month.
She is, yes, from
Hmm.
Wiltshire Media. Yeah, it's going to be
Right.
great.
It'll all be about PR and getting published and that sort of thing, which is great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, I try. I think it's important that I do bring in, high value experts because, especially as a mompreneur, like my time is limited. And if I'm going to ask you to come and show up and to give, an hour and a half to this, I want to make sure it's worth your while. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Amen.
exactly. And the more I can kind of highlight the local talent that we have, the better. So far, with the exception of 1 month, I've always had someone local come and do the talks, and they've always been women, which is really cool too.
So
So
was that an accident? Like, did Rise begin as just an entrepreneur community and then it kind of evolved into women only, or did you always see it as a women only
I
group?
always saw it as women only, and I think
Yeah.
just because that's what I can relate to, and there's so much stuff out there for men, and it's easy to find successful men out there, and I just thought I want to really focus on the women and to lift them up and give them a platform to talk and to shine and do all the things that they do in a
That's
different way.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's something about women empowerment. I mean, just, not to, alienate anyone, but there is something there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you've been working on some stuff that I
Lots
think
of
is
stuff.
super secret. I don't know if it's super secret,
It's
but
not something that's really been publicly announced, I wouldn't say.
okay. So I feel like you should publicly announce it.
Yeah, so I guess in doing all this, I started off in Rise a couple of years ago as you know, just a leader at one of our meetups, which is super exciting. But because of the way that the meetup that I host has went, I think I have the most successful meetup that we have, and we are an international company that, you know, I was asked to come on as a partner of Rise Up. So it's now myself and one other lady who lives in the Canary Islands. So we are definitely international. Yeah.
Hopefully that's where the corporate retreats are.
Well, stay tuned. Yeah. So, you know, she asked me to come on as a partner, and I was very excited to do that because I really believe in, you know, supporting entrepreneurs and building these communities and doing these things. So Rise Up is basically a company who wants to support entrepreneurs rise up and achieve their dreams. And we do that through meetups. We do that through live events, which will be coming in person as soon as we can do that. We had to cancel a few.
Happening. Yeah, it'll happen again.
Exactly. So right now we're focusing online, but there's, you know, we have very, very big dreams and things coming. I'm so excited about it.
Can you tease me a little?
Yeah, so
right.
a few things I guess we're working on right now. They're kind of our focus. We are expanding our leaders to an international basis. So anyone who's not in the KW area, who, you know, wants to build a community and who wants to support entrepreneurs, shoot me a message, because I would love to support you and give you this opportunity. We are ensuring that everyone has their own geographical area, so there's no overlap. But, you know, we're going to help you get set up. We're going to help you monetize it. We're going to help you, you know, really become established as a leader in your community and the expert in your field. There's so many benefits of running a community like this, besides being surrounded by like-minded people and besides having that community and getting rid of that loneliness. So, you know, we're really looking forward to expanding this on an international basis. So that's one big thing, and there'll be lots more levels of that.
And is there somewhere specific that you're starting, like Ontario, Canada? Just anywhere. All bets are off right now.
Yeah, we have more locally. We have someone starting one in Barrie.
Nice.
So that's coming soon. We have a few people in the States. We have a few people over in Europe. You know, it's going to be. We might even have someone in Australia. I'll have to double check, but it's really an international.
Now, what's the advantage to someone who might be interested in opening, like a city, or doing Toronto Rise, or London, Ontario Rise, or Michigan?
Yeah. Well, like I said, you know, it really helps to establish you as the expert in what you do. You know, you really become a leader. You have to, you know, figure out how to become a leader, which I think as an entrepreneur is a really important skill to have.
Yeah.
You know, we will help you learn to monetize it, so it can be kind of a side hustle for you. And, you know, you become an expert, or sorry, you probably already are an expert, but you'll become more known in your community and in your area for what you do. Because, you know, even for me, like, I go out in public and, you know, just start chatting with other entrepreneurs that I meet, whether it's, you know, a personal appointment somewhere or whatnot, and they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of that meetup. Oh, okay, like you're the one that runs that. Oh, and then it just kind of
don't you love that feeling?
It's so good. It's cool to be recognized. You know, I almost feel like a celebrity to a degree, like, oh, they know me and they my group. Oh, okay, cool.
And it makes you proud, right?
Super proud. Yeah, and we have such a good reputation in the community and in the city. So it's been a wonderful experience that way, and I would love for other people to have that same experience. And, you know, a lot of people don't like networking groups. So to be able to create something and do it the way that you want to do, because, you know, as much as we want to hosting it for entrepreneurs, and as much as we have a few guidelines like monthly meetups and whatnot, it's really up to you to decide how you want to run it. So you don't have to do it towards women. You can do it specific for marketing, for example, or more health and wellness based. Like you can approach it however you want, and we will support you in doing that.
Well, because the Kitchener group, it's got no really underlying theme other than supporting each other. And the members are all different kinds of members. Like, you want to give some examples of members that are in the Rise KW group, just so people get a feel for it?
Yeah, we have lots of doulas. We have, like I said, health and wellness. So we have fitness personal trainers, nutritionists. We have our real estate agent. We have
Marketing people.
Content writers. We have PR. We have lots of people who do computer, whether it's VA or SEO. We really have a large range of people in the group, which is super, super exciting.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So if someone wants to be a part of it,
Mm-hmm.
well, if they want to be a part of the international effort, do they just contact you, or how does that work?
Shoot me a private message, and I'll connect them. There's just a little application to fill out, and we'll book in a time to chat and go from there. Yeah.
Okay, and they can, and if they can't find you on Facebook, do you have a website address that you would normally give out for that?
I don't.
Oh, Katie, we're gonna have to get you one.
Well, I have a website, but it's not up to date, so don't go to
that. Right. So look up Katie on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook or Instagram. I'm on Instagram quite a bit as well. It's just Katie Kahvo. I have a unique name, so.
Kahvo.
Yes,
Katie Kahvo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just shoot me a message, and I'd be happy to chat.
And same goes if they want into the KW group.
Yeah, if you want in the KW group, it's just facebook.com/groups/RiseKW. And you'll find that there. And there's just a couple questions to answer. Please answer the questions. It makes my life a lot easier. I don't have to chase you down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So now I have a couple of questions, just random generic entrepreneur questions that I thought maybe you could help with. So my theory is that when you're building a business or an empire or a project or whatever it is, you're going to fail. You're going to fail a bunch of times, and you're going to have big wins as well. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. So what do you think, in the years that you've been building various projects and coaching and all of that, what do you think has been the one epic fail, the one where you were like, oh my God, what was I thinking? What was that one thing?
Yeah, I guess it's just been, when I spent time like putting all this effort into building a program and getting it out there and getting it all set, and like,
that was your coaching program back in the day?
What program? It was probably a nutrition program, because I have a background in holistic nutrition. So before I went into coaching, I used to do nutrition, and I've learned to take different approaches and to do things a different way, and it does work better.
Yeah.
But
I guess how you learn, right?
That's how you learn. And I would say, I have two things I would say, actually. Putting out a program that didn't sell anything, which stinks.
Well, and you said you don't ever really advertise as much. So, who knows?
I advertise my programs more. I don't advertise.
Yeah. Right.
That might change.
Well, that makes sense, though. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I would say, what was I going to say? Totally forget. Never mind.
Could have been important. It'll come up as soon as we're done our call, and then you'll remember, because that's how that works.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay. It's not charging enough, which is a huge lesson. So when I first started, I did a lot of stuff for free, a lot, and that was a big fail, I would say. And then when I did start charging, I didn't charge very much. And I've done a lot of work, a lot of money mindset work. And it's so fascinating, because I went from charging like pennies really for what I did to like, I don't know, like 5-10 timesing the cost of my prices and still selling the same amount.
Isn't that crazy? And it all comes down to like self-confidence, and you get that imposter syndrome or whatever, and you think that you can't charge X number of dollars because you're like, who am I to do this? Even though you've put in all the work, you've learned all of the material, you've spent all this time shaping something that will help others, and yet you still have, like you said, the little voices in your head were outnumbering the positive ones, and you underpriced yourself.
Yep. And that was a huge lesson, and I would say that's probably my biggest fail, actually, because I did that for way too long. And you lose your steam, you lose your motivation. I mean, if you're having a hard time covering your costs and paying your bills, then it doesn't matter how passionate you are about it, it's unsustainable. So learning to charge my worth and learning to be confident to, say my prices and my packages are, 4 figures is a huge jump for me, but I'm totally fine with it now. Like I feel like
And
I've
it
come
feels
so far.
amazing now,
It
doesn't it?
does.
Isn't it totally
Yeah.
the opposite now? You're
Yeah.
like, I'm worth 4 figures per program. So there you go.
Yeah,
It's just a totally
exactly.
different thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it's, I've done a lot of work with coaches and stuff, and they have really helped shift my perspective on that and take me forward in that way. And it's just been awesome.
That's great. So what would you think your biggest wins are then? I mean, obviously increasing your prices was a win.
Mm-hmm.
Do any others come to mind?
I would say being asked to, honestly, to be a partner in Rise Up, because it's something that I absolutely love. It's something that I was really passionate about, and I was just doing it for fun, really. Like, it's all volunteer work for me to do, and it's something that I was passionate about. So to be asked to come on an official manner and to, be a part owner in the company and to have an input on where it goes and what we're doing, has just been a really big honor and, a huge confidence booster. And to learn from someone who, I really respect and admire and is so successful. And it's been a very exciting experience, and I'm super excited for where we're going and all the things coming up.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, what are your favorite podcasts? Top 3.
Ooh, podcasts. You know what? I don't listen to any podcasts like consistently. I listen to ones here and there. So, like the Balance and Bliss podcast is pretty cool. It's from 2 local ladies here. If you haven't checked that out, I recommend going to check that one
Sorry, I
out.
totally have to go outside because my partner is running a voice lesson in one room away.
No problem.
Okay, so you're not really a podcast person.
I am, but I tend to like go on and listen to what I need to know, versus like pick one podcast and listen to it all the way through.
Right.
I'm more of an audiobook person.
Oh, see, I love audiobooks, but they put me to sleep.
They used to. For some reason, right now I'm flying through them. So I don't know. I've made a few changes, I guess, 'cause they're working.
Awesome. Do you have
Yeah.
books that you read, like entrepreneur books?
I do a lot of self-development. So most recently, what did I just finish? I just finished Untamed by Glennon Doyle.
Okay.
So good. So good.
Cool. Yeah,
Yep,
I love reading those. I have like a stack. The problem is I never get through them all.
Well, me neither. I got lots sitting on my bedside table too. But they're there. And even, when you have those moments, if they're there in front of you, it just kind of brings you back and reminds you of certain things. Like, I have, I forget what it's called, something about success and habits sitting on my bedside table, and I haven't read it yet.
Oh, like the seven habits of highly successful people?
Something like that. I don't think that's the one,
I think
but it's like
that's
that. I forget who it's by. If you said his name, I would know, but I can't remember right now.
Thanks so much for like telling us your whole story and how you've built this Rise group and what's keeping you going forward. And it's just been, I think a lot of people can take inspiration in what you've done.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. Appreciate you chatting with me and having me here today.
It was great. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thanks,
We'll talk
Jennifer.
soon.
Have a good
Okay.
day. Bye.
You too. Bye.